We gotta have motion to start
Yeah.
first, then we'll try.
Oh.
Do it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
but we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call?
Okay, Mayor Westgard.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hutz. All right. Good, Jerry.
Here.
Jerry. And Wolfman.
I'm here too.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna go through and score our two different papers. When we go through these, everybody has a chance to score it and tell us one way or the other why.
Can I have paper?
You bet, I got you. Yeah, those.
I think. I think I did. Sorry. I misread
I'm gonna start with the one that's called, with the non-spreadsheet one, the mayor and city council planning session.
Yep.
Again, this whole concept here, just to encourage discussion. Yeah, they're not necessarily any right or wrong answer, it's just to encourage some discussion, and especially when we're dealing with new council members, it's good, I think it's good to get some ideas, about what everybody's ideas are, as far as some of these are just on general governance issues. So what I'd ask us to do is we'll go through and you'll score everything, all of these questions, and you see the scale there, 1 strongly disagree and 10 would be to strongly agree. But mainly, again, this is more to encourage some discussion more than anything else. But let's start with number 1, Mayor, if you want to be.
I scored the city should protect the taxpayers and ratepayers. I just give it a 5. I don't think the city should be protecting them. I just think we should be a good steward of the tax money. So
When you say protect, what do you mean by protect?
That's what
That's
I say, it's all open for discussion. So,
Yeah.
there's certainly a couple, there's a frame of mind out there that says, I was elected to protect the citizen's pocketbook, and there's some people who say I was elected and I want to do that at all costs. And, the other side of that isn't necessarily just protecting the pocketbook, it's effective and efficient government, and sometimes it costs a lot of money to do that.
I guess I gave it a 10 because, I'm going to treat the taxpayer's checkbook just like I'd treat mine. And as you would treat yours if I got a hold of it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because in fact I gave them all a 10 because they're all, very, to me, common sense things that's why we were elected, is to do, all these things to the best of our abilities, so.
I give it 10. And I just, feel it's the city. Not necessarily to be so involved, but to be able to help them or advise them or whatever, possible.
Sure. Great.
Yeah. Same reason, basically everything's been said.
Yeah. Whitey?
I gave it a 6. The reason I gave it a 6 is that I understand trying to hold taxes down and keep the rates as important to that it's out of whack. It also needs that sometimes we got to spend the money in order to maintain what we have or to improve. When I'm saying when it comes to taxpayers, we're going to talk about the sewer, how much that needs to be done. People won't understand that unless we let them know that we're going to have to spend some kind of money towards that. I'm not saying going out and raising taxes, I'm not going out and saying that we should raise rates, but we got to be diligent about also keep up our structure the way it is. And that takes money, and sometimes that does involve spending, I don't want to say, money that the general public doesn't realize. And that's, people, there's gonna be some people that are always gonna be against what we spend, no matter what we do, thinking we're not protecting the people. It comes down to common sense, and that's what I can't sit here and say that that's the only reason I'm gonna not raise taxes or raise taxes is just because of the taxpayers. I understand they put me in office for that, and I think that is important, but it's also important to keep improving the city.
Number two, Dave, you want to start?
Again, number 10, I gave it a 10, you know, the city should always be a good, the main partner in the betterment of our community, because the community is the city. And that's all, I guess, all I
Derek?
can say.
I gave it a 10 because I think we should be a part of the betterment.
Yeah, Jerry?
I went with an 8 because mainly we've got other organizations, we need to be a partner, but not the leader in it.
I gave it an 8 also. Same way that some of the clubs and stuff, we can share some of the responsibility with them, helping them out with their responsibility. But it's up to them to start the ball rolling, I guess, and then see how we can hit in there and help out.
I gave them a 10 because what I've seen in the past, about 10 years, if the city doesn't take the lead, it never seems to get done. We got other organizations, but it seems like if the city's not involved, the community will not get better. Everybody talks about it, but the city actually does it. That's why I give it a 10.
Some of that's the capacity to get it done. You look at a lot of organizations, you know, they may certainly want to do things and they may be really active towards it, but they may not have the capacity to do it, whereas the city does. Number 3, the city should provide effective services to the public. Derek?
I gave it a 10. I think we ought to be able to, we should provide all we can. You know, we need to do that to have people keep moving into the community and whatever. You know, to provide everything we can, everything within reason.
I gave it a 10 also. Basically, the taxpayers are paying for that in a general way. I mean, it should be effective, and they're paying for it.
I give it a 9. Same thing, just people want all the services to be as efficient and they're available when they need to be.
I give it an 8 because I think that the word effective, you could use it either way. If you want effective services for the dollars, or you want to spend a lot of dollars and have fair services, I think you could have it either way. So I didn't give it only an 8.
Dave?
You know, I think, you know, still comes down to what you said about interpretation, you know.
Sure.
And the way I interpret it is, you know, the people of Lakeview expect us to provide the best services we can to the city, and how important is it? You know, if we didn't have the services we have, our phone's gonna be ringing off the hook. So I think it's really important. So I gave it a 10, that we should absolutely give the best effective services that we can.
Yeah, I just really look at that as, you know, you know, that's the city's top priority. You're going to provide service, and you're going to provide them as effective and efficient as you can be. But there's a continuum there about, you know, at what point are you considering it the most effective that you could get? Because you can have better service than what you have, but it's just going to cost more money, and you got to determine that point at which you think, nope, you know, we've reached this optimum level, and that's where we want to be. How about the next one? The city should be an active partner in economic development. Jerry, you want to start?
I gave that an 8, to be honest with you, for the same reason a while ago, that we have other organizations that we need to partner with, not be the leader in it.
I gave it a 9. And then, again, on the same basis that private sector is the ones that got to start it, and how we come in there and be part of that, you know, through our tax abatement and stuff like that, that's one thing. But as far as start up money, I don't know how you, I guess there you can read it into, some cities will come out and give them startup money and stuff like that. I believe in, if you're gonna do it, the city should let you do it and help out, if that means streets or sewers or something like that. That's one thing, like we've done with the Boulder development. You know, but there was some startup money there from that, but I don't go quite that far. I'll be there as, you know, like I said.
I gave it a 10 because the economic development that I've seen happen in the past only became initiated because the city got involved by boulders. If you hadn't interpreted at the Omaha show, we would have never got boulders.
Yeah.
And I know there's other organizations, I don't think the city should go out and finance anything, I just think we should be an active part in making it happen. And it's the only way it's gonna happen is if the city does it, because everybody talks that they're gonna do it, but damn few do it. That's why I give it a 10.
I give it a 10 because I don't know what city that's not basically the leader of economic development. You know, all the cities I've been in, the city is a leader in the economic development. You know, the cities do what they can to attract new businesses and help with infrastructure or whatever it is that needs to be done, but the city should be a leader in it and do everything it can to lure or new business or to help keep the businesses that we do have. You go back to what you said about you know, just, you know, being a good partner, or, you know, somebody else taking the lead on it or whatever. They might have the resources to do it. And I think it's very important for the city to be involved in that, and so I give it a 10.
I give it a 10 also. I think it's a very important part of to get new business in, if we're able to get new business in, to offer a package or whatever to them, you know, not necessarily finance, but, you know, to help them out as much as we can.
All right, good, thank you. City should provide low-cost utilities. Wayne?
I gave it 7. Now, the reason I gave it a 7 is that it's important for, if you run it too low, you know, there's always a cost of doing business with electrical, with whatever replacement costs, whatever it might be. I think we're in a really unique situation right now where our situation is that we're probably as low as anybody around there and still able to maintain that cost effectiveness that we got. How do I would say, our stuff is in good shape. Our electrical line's now in really excellent shape. We know we got the big white elephant there on the sewer plant coming at us, and maintaining a low cost is fine. But you know, if we do a gradual rate increase in some stuff once in a while, that'll eliminate the big, hopefully the big number that we'd have to come up with. You know, trying to put a load in the bank right now to plan for that day. And we know it's coming. It's just going to be a time of how we're going to manage our money and what we got available at that time. So, if you meant that we should have the lowest cost utilities, there's a fine line in that gray area as far as I'm concerned. If it's real cheap, that's great for everybody, but we're going to pay the piper someplace down the line, and I feel if we're in the middle there someplace, that's where we should be.
I gave them a 6. I don't think we should be the lowest cost utilities. I'd like to have good utilities. You know, it costs money to have good stuff. You know, low bid's not always the best. And I think if we have good utilities that are reasonably priced, I think everybody would be happy, reasonably happy.
You know, just to add a little bit on that, you know, when we had that ice storm, people found out what that was like being without electricity, and we had luckily, we had a reserve fund that we could get somebody in here to do it. I think the scenario could have been a lot different if we didn't have that part of it, so. The rainy day is always gonna come someplace along the line, that's what, believe it or not, so.
I agree with you guys 100%. And, you know, I looked at this and I thought should provide low-cost utilities. I guess when I gave it a 10, I gave it as low as we can, okay? Without, you know, giving up that rainy day fund for the ice storm and that sort of thing. So to me, I gave it a 10 because when we think of the rates, yeah, we need to keep them as low as we can without, you know, breaking the bank, so to speak, as you said, Wayne. So I gave it a 10 because it's important that we keep that focus along with keeping our reserves to a point where we can afford to do the things that we need to do to keep the rates where they are. So again, it's all up to interpretation of the question.
I agree, I gave it a 10 because that's why to provide low-cost utilities where we can, you know, afford to, you know, still make some money, but not so low cost that we're not making money. That's why I, you know, look at that, you know, so.
Yeah.
But we need good utilities, you know, that's
Yeah,
why.
because that's, if we're looking at attracting, you know, if we do ever attract another major industry and stuff, you know, that could be one of the main things that they look at, you know, as utilities, because if another Evapco came in, you know, and we were really high on utilities versus somebody just down the road or something, you know, we might lose that just because our rates are too high. So it's important to have that balance.
And in a way, Scott, we've always done you've always compared rates to different towns around us.
Well, you know, we like to know where we stand.
Yeah,
Just because you like to know what you're, you know, if you're in a business that you're doing a competitive analysis.
right. And
But if you just like to know where you stand relative to everybody else, knowing that everybody's situation is different, and you see that in utility rates. That there's some communities that have sky high rates, and it's because they had to address a certain type of water quality problem, or they had water supply issues, and it's just very expensive to get to water. And you know, just that it's when you look at those comparisons across communities, you just can't put a whole lot of stock in them necessarily, because everyone's got their own special instances about what's what. But it is nice to know where you compare.
yeah, like I said, with the silver lining with this ice storm, you know, we were able to replace how many miles of
40 miles a line.
40 miles of line, which is what, 60 years old, Jerry?
At least.
Yeah, so I
At
mean,
least.
for 15%, so I guess it's called making lemonade out of lemons, but you know.
That was a blessing.
In the long run, it was. And probably wished we would have done more lines, you know, if that would have been the case, knowing what we know, but at that time, there again, that's put us in a pretty good position here. Now we've got only about, what, 25 or 26 miles, how many miles?
20 miles, I think.
Is that what's I think it's about 20?
20 miles, I mean.
Because we'd had 20 replaced before, did 40. There's 20, 25 left.
Okay, well, but I'm just saying, was it about $80,000 a mile, isn't it? Is that what figured out to be at that time?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're still paying,
We didn't pay that much on the big project.
yeah, on the big
But
project,
it's
so.
huge.
So again, you gotta,
Economies of scale.
adapt to what's thrown at you, so.
Okay?
A lot of it depends on what you read into the question. I went down the avenue, which Dave did, that if you're gonna be looking at economic development, having been involved in the Evapco thing, we do need, and that's why I went with the 10. That was one of the major selling points for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we sold
It
it.
came down to them and one other, us and one other town.
Yeah.
The other thing on utilities, you know, so we hear the other big buzzword is reliability. Yeah,
Well, yes.
it's the reliability end of things, and just making sure that we keep up our system in
Well, I guess that's
such a good.
I'm saying, you gotta have good, maybe low cost, but you also have to have good equipment. and
Well,
good-
like John
to
said, I
have
mean, you
it.
can have the best thing, but you can have good without having the best.
Right.
You bet. Mayor, the city should have excellent infrastructure.
I give it a 6, because excellent would be like the streets all got brand new curb and gutter, new sewer and water, so I think we should have a good infrastructure for what we can afford, so I gave it a 6. It's all up to interpretation.
Again, it's just supposed to spur discussion.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't want to give them too many of them 10s, because then there was nowhere to talk about them if they all got 10s, so.
Oh, but there is.
They're all, we don't like
Why you would
10s.
give it a 10?
Yeah, well, that's, I only give a couple of 10, because I.
You know, having excellent infrastructure, that, you know, to me, when I read that, doesn't mean having the best of the best. It means having an attractive city to live in, with really nice streets like we do have. You know, again, you know, that people look, when they move to a community, how nice the community looks. And I think we're very fortunate to have a nice looking community all the way around, you know, with the infrastructure of the streets and so forth. So I'll give it a 10, yeah.
Yeah, I give it an 8 because, well, like you said, excellent is, you know, I'd say good is good, you know, and excellent is perfect, you know, so, and then, you know, I, you know, like it's a question, you know, that draws
You know, because you're thinking to
attention.
yourself, at some point, you know, things are good.
Yeah.
And you hate to say good enough because that doesn't sound right, but you say, you know, basically things are good enough, and the cost-benefit analysis has changed to where your next dollar probably isn't buying as much as the previous dollar did,
Right.
as far as benefit out of that.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm. Yeah.
When you talk about infrastructure and what you just said, you're never done with it.
yeah,
So I give it a 10, based on the same reason before. I mean, it's a drawing card to your city. I mean, people pass through, you know, and they make a judgment that minute.
I give it an 8, and the reason I gave that an 8, you go drive around, and I was talking about roads and streets and stuff like that. You go into a lot of these other little small towns, and they would probably take our worst roads on some of their places, because we do it. And then it comes down to excellent and good, that's where, that's, I mean,
sure.
I mean, it's a tough,
yeah, I mean, to me, but it's important, and it's a selling point, just like I agree 100% on that. You gotta sell Lakeview any way we can, and having good roads is part of that. And everything else working.
All right, this changes the subject quite a little bit. The city's #1 priority should be public safety. Dave?
I included police, fire, and EMS in that.
Okay.
And, you know, being where I work and at the school and seeing other communities around the country that have had a few problems and stuff, I gave that, I don't even know how you could put a number on that, but I gave it a 10. You know, how do you put a number on public safety, and which includes police, fire, and EMS, because when you need it, Jerry, right? You wish, you hope to hell that it's a 10.
Yeah, there
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, you know, if any community, that's got to be a 10. You know, I don't think the public would want anything less.
I give it a 10 because I've always thought safety, you know, whether we was out on the farm or whether I'm in my building or whatever, we're, you know, or at the home, we're safety minded, you know, we think safety, yeah, so.
Pretty good.
I give it a 10 also. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer question, really. I mean,
You know, the concept here deals more with the idea of prioritizing. And that as we look at this big thing that's the city, and there's so many different components of it, there's things are prioritized differently when you look at it. And I'm sure everybody has their own different idea of what's important to them. And if they're saying, boy, I really want to get my road fixed, this road up here, I would really like to get that fixed. And to some people that's higher priority than making sure that we get a new fire truck.
Yeah.
We can call Jimmy John's, they'll get there quicker than the fire department.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hoagie, I gave it a 9. Now, the reason I gave it a 9, and I did give it a 10, I'm absolutely convinced that we do the best job there is. You think about our police department, we have somebody on duty just about 24/7, don't we?
Yeah.
So that's, we got a professional service. The reason I didn't give it a 10, if we wanted to have we don't have somebody that's on the fire department that's full-time. It's all volunteer work, so I mean, in a perfect world, that would make it a perfect world, in my book.
I give it an 8. Not that public safety isn't very important, but there's so many other things that are important to other people in town. Like Scott, there might be some guys on the road, that's all he talks about. But I think it's important. It's important enough to give it an 8.
very good. Question 8, the city should be a positive partner in helping private businesses succeed. Terry?
Well, I'd give it an 8. I guess I partially feel like they should, but it isn't on the top priority to me. I think every business needs to succeed on their own. I don't think we can start, if you help one, then where do you ever draw the line to do that?
True.
Scott, I give it a 7 for that same reason. Where do you start, where do you stop?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to be there to help Main Street thrive, but you're not there to hold the rein.
That's one thing that we really don't have is, a guiding policy about how we would administer economic development or any assistance for businesses. The only policy is basically has either been, that there's just not much there for individual businesses, or if somebody wanted something in particular, they'd come to see the council. It'd be a case-by-case basis.
That's why I gave it a 5, because I'm right in the middle of the road on that. How do you determine what, some come for money, some come for tax, you gotta do this as each one's got their own merit, I guess. I don't know how else to.
If it happened all the time, you would certainly want to have a policy. And that's common in other communities that they have an economic development policy. It just doesn't happen all the time around here, and we're kind of on the end that if something good did happen, we certainly want to talk about it and then see if there's something that we can do.
But when you say that they have this policy, is it somebody that's the size of Lakeview, or is it somebody, we're talking the size of Carroll, but,
It depends on what your goals are, I guess.
yeah.
If you have a goal of, keeping up on attracting new business and stuff, it's all a part about, and how much are you willing to invest in that? I guess it always, whatever your goal is. To me.
I'm up. I give it a 5, because I think most private business would tell you they got too much government in their back pocket the way it is.
Now, where'd that idea come from?
Well, I don't know, I just think we got, I don't want to be a hindrance to private business, but we talked about this for 10 years, while I've been on it. We'd like to help, but we can't pick and choose winners, that's up to the public, so.
Right.
I think we should stay in the middle of the road and just stay the hell out
Well, I
of the
think
way.
a good,
And not tell them about hauling panels on Main Street.
Right, yeah, something like that.
good example of that was a couple of years ago at Lakewood.
Yeah.
They wanted help and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, people wanted the city to buy Lakewood, I said, we
Yeah.
can't operate what we're supposed to.
No.
Why would we want Lakewood?
Yeah. Well, I wish you would've, cause then we'd have a place to dance.
Well,
There you go.
We'll we'll have a street dance once a year for you.
It's too hard on knees.
Ah, picky, picky, picky.
I know it.
You know, I guess we're going to interpretation again, you know, helping and doing what you can to help the existing businesses is the way I saw it. You know, it may not just be financial, you know, and I guess what I've heard going around the table is more financial, I guess, you know. And then it goes back to how involved do you want to be in economic development, you know, because if, say, a local business like Evapco said, hey, we got a better deal in Vermillion, South Dakota or something like that, well, all of a sudden, that's going to be a 10 on our list.
Yeah.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? You know, so, but, you know, it's just not the financial aspect, it's doing, you know, whatever it is we can within reason.
Yeah.
Very good. Number 9, the city should participate in the promotion of tourism. Who's the lead on it?
My turn, I don't know.
You can.
Well, I agree, you know, I gave it a 10, and I agree 100% with Doug that we need to be a part of this, bring more tourism into our company. That's a very important part of this town, it always has been, you know, so.
I went with an 8 on that one. I believe we strongly need to participate, but we need a partner.
Good.
I gave it a 10. I think that's what promotes people to come to here, spend some money. Some guy told me this, every dollar a tourist spends is one less dollar you have to fight for tax. But again, this is what this community is about, and a lot of people are starting to believe that this is now a destination, not just a pass-through kind of place, you know, so the more we can promote, the better off everybody is.
I give it a 10. That meeting we had with SCTD here a couple months ago up at City Hall, with this little promotion sheet, tourists spend 19.6 million in Lakeview and they spend 10 million in Storm Lake. So it's obviously tourism, I think, is the, you know, because tourists come up and buy gas, they buy houses.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah,
Buy
that's,
cinnamon.
you betcha.
They like to spend their money
Well,
on
I'll tell you
farmers
what, if you're ever in business in this town and go through the winter, you'll know what tourism is in this town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
market. Starve to death in winter and
That's
Try
right,
to
you
make it
better
summer.
get your cards all out right before he's going to winter. I'll tell you what,
Whether you like
to make
it
it
or
through,
not.
Yeah, it's
It's
Easter
just
Sunday.
vital.
yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, you know, this community relies very, very heavily on tourism. When I went through the planning, or what was that, the wants of each department?
Yep.
And Camp Crescent had a positive of $30,000.
Yeah.
38, I think it was. You know, you just look at that and you see how important tourism is to this community, because you said that it pays for all the parks.
All parks.
Stuff, so it's important that we keep up on doing the infrastructure on the tourism thing because of that. Because if we, like the problem that Camp Crescent's in right now is, you know, the spaces are getting too small. We don't have a storm shelter. Things of that nature are going to be deterrents to the campers, because the campers are getting bigger. They're going to go somewhere else. So it's important that we think about the tourism aspect of the lake when we make those decisions. So I gave it also a 10. It ranks right up there with economic development, because you never know when a CEO or something's going to come and visit.
Exactly.
Because of the tourism that we have, and say, hey, do something like I did, this is going to be a nice community to live in. and this is gonna be a community where I wanna locate my business or a piece of the business, so you never know when that's gonna happen. So I think it's a great thing to give it a 10 on.
I think, don't you, Terry, you know, you've been around here, Jerry, both of you guys. I think the residents are becoming more aware of tourism. You know what I'm saying? That how much of it does.
There's a lot of people that,
Because look, a lot of the people with the recession and stuff, you know, where dollars got tight, instead of driving all the way up to Okoboji, they stopped in Lakeview here, you know, and found out they could boat a lot sooner. It's a lot cheaper to do a lot of things here, and I think that's probably, as they say, word of mouth is your best advertising.
Yeah.
And making it as much a positive influence on everybody that shows up here. You know, you're never always going to please everybody, but you know, it's still that's how.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
John's got the mouth.
He's not shy about it either, my gosh.
Jerry, I'd give you a high five for that, but I don't know if I can reach that far.
Right, John.
I'll tell you what I think.
yeah,
There you go.
well,
I
that's
agree.
all right.
All right.
I'll tell you to the face the same thing I'll tell you behind your back.
Yeah.
How's that?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the same.
And some people don't like to hear that.
Some people
That's
don't like to
okay.
hear that. Honesty sometimes is a hard thing to swallow.
That's right. Being wrong is too.
Yeah.
But they don't like
Yeah,
it.
if you were, I guess I'm never wrong.
Yeah.
The only time I was ever wrong is when I thought I was.
There you go.
I'm wrong a lot, but I admit it when I am.
Okay, now that we all got on our little
Number 10, the city should seek ways to share services with other cities or organizations.
I wrote the real on this one. I put a 5, or about half and half, I don't know. In the past, I've kind of noticed that, yeah, it'd be nice to share, but it never works out well. Just my thought. Been around here long enough to see it.
I'm in the, well, I'm a little over the middle. I gave it a 6, and the reason I gave it a 6, you know, I really thought we would have a good opportunity to share some equipment with Wall Lake, and that could start something, but they weren't interested. I understand they had a contract and stuff like that, so I just don't know what would be expected from the other cities to, when you share it, you know, that's new territory. We've tried to explore it, and it just doesn't seem like anybody's willing to do it, so, I mean, I never say no, but I guess I'm not looking to share equipment with other cities. If
There's, you know, if you find a good fit, you know, we certainly ought to do that. And higher levels of government are always encouraging that. The state always encourages sharing as much as possible. Whether it's equipment, personnel, or whatever, just anything you can do to kind of, it's a cost control measure.
I give it a 7 because I'd like to see us do more, but I don't know which ones are the things we can do. We've done the COPS thing, which works well. And we've done this blacktop, didn't we use Rockwell City's blacktop machine or something here, or Lake City?
Yeah, we never did.
We never did, but
But
we
we
tried
had it
to
all
do
lined up,
that.
yep, for-
And we tried to do the sewer thing. I think but finding the right ideal situation, I think, is tough. Because what we want, they want, and we all want it at the same time, so.
Yeah, and this is not nearly as hot an issue now as it was several years ago, partly because they haven't had a whole lot of luck with it, but it deals more with fire departments and consolidation of small fire departments. And not even consolidation, but sharing, you know, that not every department's gonna have every piece of equipment. And they've had some real mixed results with that. And whenever we talk with basically any volunteer fire department, you know, that's something that is very much just tied to the community. They have strong feelings that you know, having a local fire department's the best thing for their community, and most likely is. But of course, it costs money then too.
Yeah.
So,
That's why they have mutual aid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
I was
right.
gonna say.
It'd be nice to share, but in reality, it doesn't always work. But the cops have worked well for us, and the sewer jetter on the road, maybe down the road they're interested, but as long as we control it, I think it's a great idea.
You know,
Yeah.
going back, you know, it may not be the things that we've experienced before, you know, like the equipment thing, it may not be one of the shared equipment, or, you know, it could be a service. If we can't think of it right now, but I think it's really important that we keep thinking about it, so, you know, the wheels are turning when it does happen, because, yeah, working in school, I go back to schools all the time, you know, they're always looking of consolidating with other schools, you know, sharing or different things they do with different schools. It may not be whole sharing, it may be partial sharing, and cities should be no different. You know, it may come down some point where we can save money by sharing staff or something like that. But I think it's really important that we continue to look at different ways that we could save money for the taxpayers of Lakeview. And that could be, has to be something that we keep on top of. So I did give it a 10, just like I have everything else in the
I
past
give-
year.
I give it a 7. I think sharing's all right, but it's, well, whether it was here or out on the farm or wherever, the sharing's okay if it works on both sides, but it don't always work on
It's
both
an
sides.
important issue. It's
You
gotta
know,
work
that
on
means
both sides.
if you don't get it set up right and stuff, it can be a big mistake.
But again, you know, like I said, and not everything. If we could find one thing that we could share,
Yeah.
it's a positive. Police department, for example.
The only thing like this judder too, then, you know, say we did share that, which I'm kind of glad we did. You know, it would have maybe been all right, but then who was gonna pay for say like the repairs and stuff like that? Then it comes up to being a big issue. You know?
Well, it's just that all that stuff needs to be worked out beforehand.
I know.
And you enter into an agreement about that, so that
That's
it's,
right.
so that it's all stipulated.
And we had a halfway plan in there that had the basics in it, so, I mean, but, yeah, that's something you don't just enter into without having some
A plan.
a plan to go through that.
The other thing on sharing, though, I think that's maybe different opportunities, something that we just haven't thought of, you know, as a city before, is any sharing opportunities between the city and other governments, mainly the school.
Yeah.
You know, and is there any opportunity, and it's not just equipment, you know, but is, and I'm not even sure what it is, nothing
And
comes to mind.
I guess that's where I was coming from, I guess, with my statement is, you know,
But
because there just might be some things we could share with that, with the school.
All right, we have a bonus question. I was elected to do what the public wants done. You the leader?
I'll be the leader on this one, have to. This one was tough for me for the fact that when you talk about the public, are you talking about the public that's informed, the ones that go out to vote? Or are you talking about the ones that are out there talking, sitting down at the bar and complain about no matter what's going to be? I feel that I was elected on the basis that the public have a lot of trust in what I decide, or and you got to look at the whole city as what's common sense, what's right. I gave it a 7. It's important to the ones that vote, that are informed, that are part of it. The ones that are, you're always going to have the ones that just don't want to complain about anything and don't know why they're complaining.
You want names?
Huh? Jerry, been around a little bit longer than I have on some.
We know who they are, but
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that it's not important to do what the public wants. I think it's just the idea, this is discussion only, and we've got to do what affects the whole city and how it, sometimes that's not being very popular once in a while. Isn't that right, Jerry?
yes, it is.
I gave it a 5, because just like Whitey, some of the public has no idea what we're doing. And it took me years, I think, to figure out what's going on in the city. I've been around 10 years now, council and mayor. And the stuff that goes on, the public has no idea, they have no idea the troubles we have with the sewer plant, water plant, equipment. What they read is this little synopsis in the paper. But so I don't know if we're doing what the public wants. I think we're doing what needs to be done. And if they had the same information, I think 90% would vote the same way we're doing it. That's what I think.
And I think that is the key to, if they were informed, you know, we have the opportunity where we get all the information firsthand. You know, I think it's the importance of listening to the public is a 10, and what we do with that information after we have it, and that's when we make the decision on what to do with it, because we might have more information than what Johnny does down the street.
Right.
And he might see it a different way because he doesn't have the information that we have. So I think, you know, I give it a 10 on listening to the public and then making an informed decision, you know, from there.
Oh, definitely,
You know.
I agree with you on that, 100%.
But I was torn on that, on whether to give it a full 10 or whether to back it down. You know, it just depends on which entity of the public, you know. There are people out there that complain no matter what you're doing, and, you know,
Yeah,
so the bottom line is I'm not even gonna give that one a number. Because I don't wanna say it's not important, but it kinda is important, you know.
I guess what I'm saying is if we were doing something that was really out of whack or against the public's viewpoint, I would hope to think that them chambers would be full, they'd be raising hell with us.
Right, right.
You know,
Exactly.
And the decisions that we make, you know, I may have a personal opinion about something and say no, but if people in the public come to me and say, Dave, you know, you have to say yes on this because of this, this, and this, you know, they might have a different opinion than I do. So, depending on what the situation is, I might go against what I feel and vote what a majority of the people in the city want.
what is it,
You know,
what
but it depends on what it is. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
You can't put a finger on it.
what do you consider a majority of people? I mean, seriously, I mean, just.
You know, if we had a huge issue, you know, and people came to the council meeting, or, you know, I got 100 people calling me on my phone,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna think, well, maybe I'm wrong. You know,
Mhm.
and if I still feel the way I feel, you know, I gotta go with what the majority, if we had a public hearing on something, then those
Sure.
people, maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we've
I'm
had-
not gonna be right 100% of the time.
Well, you know, another thing that Jerry, we do a lot of talking. We talk about a lot of different issues. It's very rare that we just vote on something other than paying the bills, but we've gone to public meetings. Do I think it would have been great to have a bike trail over around our end there by Lakewood and stuff like that? But going across, when you really look at it, going across all the people's property, I personally thought it was great, but when you saw the outpouring, that's a dead horse. That
Right.
really is. It's just,
Yeah.
because,
That's exactly the kind of thing. what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
exactly, yeah. But I'm saying that, you know, that's something that we did listen to people, it ain't just something that we just decided to ram down some throats. We
Yeah.
tried to find alternatives,
Mhm.
so again, you know, good. Ask questions, ask people, that's not a problem. Hopefully they'll,
Right.
I gave it an 8, and I guess I liked it to do what the public wanted, but to tell you the truth, I don't think the public knows what they want, or, like, you know, I didn't know. You know, I've learned a lot just sitting in these meetings, you know, already, because you know, you don't, as a resident in the city of Lakeview, you don't realize what's all going on here, you know, or,
and
I
if
mean,
you don't come and sit in the meetings,
that's right.
you're gonna hear coffee shop talk.
Yeah.
And that's just because somebody's
Yeah.
add something to it, whatever happens, you know. And Jerry, you know that as well, do you?
Sounds good anyway.
Yeah?
That's what and I'm not a coffee shop. I learned way too much there.
You know, it's like going to a room full of truck drivers. You find out. Yeah, no doubt.
Gary?
An inch maybe of a 10 that I thought about it, how stupid is that? You know, I was elected to do what public wants done, you know, so I gave it a 5. Every vote that we do affects somebody. So I generally try and vote the way that it benefits the majority. And like he said, you're not always going to be right. But we weren't voted in here to do what they want done. We're voted in here to represent them.
That's right. Okay.
And not every vote's gonna be a popular vote for every person in the
Right.
community.
And somebody's not gonna always agree.
Exactly. So I give it a 5.
Great. Like Terry was talking about issues, and city government is not rocket science, but the fact is, it can be complex, and if you're
Right.
just watching it a little bit from the outside, you may not be really seeing what the entire picture is.
Well, the first night, the first night I was at that meeting, and I says, this is a lot to take in, and then Scott was walking down the hall there, and he said, well, we only discussed one or two, basically 1 or 2 items a night, I mean, this is a little more than, normal, but, which is true, which gives you time to grasp and take a hold of what's going on, because.
What he's got for averages, or you write them down?
I wrote down, I have them down. And I just kind of give everybody what the,
I think you ought to put it down on there, each of the one.
you think that's what there's,
Yeah.
we might do dots.
Why do you allow us to map at you?
Still just damn dots, right?
Yeah, no shit. Not in there.
The other thing I really had planned for tonight, thanks for that discussion, I appreciate that. I think sometimes it's good just to kind of, even if you're talking in some abstracts, sometimes it's.
They just want to know what the new guys think, that's all.
Yeah.
I want to know what the new guys think.
Well, we do this every year, so.
No, I know, I just kidding.
No, that's all part of that.
Yeah,
I would tell you that when Jerry stopped in today, I told him, I don't think it's going to take really too long.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and
We're
so,
done, right?
well,
We're pretty close.
we're going to go through this capital one, and I'll introduce the issue, and then if we would just give a ranking to it, unless you have some special comment for what you like, and we'll kind of work through this a little bit quicker. It's a little bit of electric transmission. We own interest in a line from Grimes to Granger, and we own interest in some switch over in eastern Iowa. I'd tell you, we paid $15,000 for that several years ago, and we get $600 in revenue off that thing every year, or something like that. Any interest in owning any more electric transmission? Dave?
I guess I need to do a little more homework on, what it all involves, and, to give it.
I should have put in a category.
So I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'd give it a 3 because I guess I don't know what the cost of the line would be today, a transmission line like that would be today. I don't, somewhat important, but not on top of our priority, I think.
One.
One.
Okay.
Now, look, how does that?
We've been around a while. Maybe we gotta go the other way.
You
That's why I
understand
said
what I
the
mean?
cost of it.
Yeah.
I think the cost probably is a lot more than $15,000.
That was the smallest investment that we
The
made.
return on your investment takes too
Yeah.
long to get
Takes too
back.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underground electric line replacement, Terry.
I'd give it a 2.
I give it a 2.
I gave it a 5.
3.
And that's just something that when you talk with Bill, it's just an ongoing thing. He wants to make sure that we're doing a project probably one underground a year, next year overhead. Underground, overhead.
We're already doing it.
Yep, you're kind of doing that. Rural electric line replacement, Jerry.
I need that too.
I give it a 3.
I get it at 3, we haven't got much left to fix.
I gave it a 3.
2, I'll go with 2. I think it's important, but I think we're pretty well off to right now.
Street lighting upgrade, Jerry.
I need that a 1.
3.
3.
2.
2.
When we talk street lighting, there's a couple things that will get brought up here. And one will be that extension of that streetscape down 3rd Street, where we're doing some sidewalk replacement. And the issue will come up whether you ever want to do streetscape streetlights coming down to the lake. Just know that they're nice, but know that they're expensive.
Yeah.
The idea is we're trying to tie the downtown streetscape in with the lake, that 2 blocks there, that's what we're going, that's our big process, is to try to hook them together, that's
Yeah.
where the sidewalk and
I'd-
streetscape.
I'd say one, Joy and I notice sometimes when we're driving through town, like whole street there's a street light on each end, but nothing.
In the middle.
And we'd like to sometimes see that happen, maybe one in the middle at least, you know. or something.
He's working his way down to the chief.
I said,
Yeah.
that would generally be against
Your
policy,
rate's
sorry,
high.
we do
Okay.
them on corners. but-
I
He's up
see.
there.
No, I
My
didn't know
tourism
what
was
the
10, I
process
gotta
was,
stay
I
with
guess.
it.
The other thing, and you might hear the mayor talk about this from time to time, down north of Camp Crescent, and actually through your area up there, Dave, from Camp Crescent all the way up through 7th Street and Zion Circle. If you ever hear them talking about series street lighting, one after
That's no
another,
series.
okay?
That's
So that
great.
when
So
they
does that
have,
mean you're never gonna move that pole in front of my driveway?
as of right now, it's not getting moved.
The big thing I want to do is those ones, every street light along by the campgrounds be hit by a car. And I wanted to move them back, and Bill said they're in series, so it'd cost a fortune to move them
Yeah.
back. So
One goes out, they all go out.
Yeah, so we kind of put it
Sure.
on the back burner, but it's something that, because it looks like the Dickens when you come to town, every street light's been hit by a car.
Yep.
It just looks bad. You look at every one of them street lights, they've been,
Yeah.
it looks bad.
Should have got the guy that hit him.
Yeah, he probably took off.
Really? Insurance.
How about electric generation lighting?
Now, when you talk about electric generation, are we talking,
I have 2 of them here. One's electric generation, think of that as diesel or gas, and then the next one's renewables, and, wind or solar.
that's not, okay, I thought it was talking about it, keeping ours updated, but if we're just talking about,
We have no, the electric generation, and the way this is intended, is the notion that we would generate our own power. We purchase all of our power. We don't generate anything. We have no generator here. Yeah.
it's not important to me that if that's the electrical, if that's having a big generator that you're talking about diesel?
Diesel
Yeah.
generator, you power half the town
I
with
know
it or
what-
whatever.
I know what
And
it-
no
Windmill.
locomotive, no locomotive. we're just-
That's the next one, I knew the next one was a windmill, so.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Mayor,
1.
Dave?
One.
1.
One.
How about the renewables? Mayor,
1.
1.
One.
One.
don't you want to talk about it?
Nope.
No. Well, they can talk about it.
Yeah.
Energy efficiency program. Just know that we are mandated to have an energy efficiency program.
I think that's a 5. I'll give that a 5.
And
We should.
How would you
Talk
base
about
that
that.
then? Or how's that based?
well, just the concept is that when you're buying power, the most expensive power that you bought is that last kilowatt of demand.
Okay.
Okay? So when you have energy efficiency programs and you're shrinking that peak down.
This is that peak period you're talking
Nah,
about.
not necessarily. But everything helps with the peak. It's just that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But whenever you got the chance to reduce demand, like I say, you're always taking away what would be the most expensive power. Our power supply situation is, it's not hugely affected by that, I tell you. And we have a energy efficiency program, but we replace streetlights with the efficient ones. We make improvements to our system that increase the efficiency and reduce the line loss.
So are you talking money rebates then too, with something like this?
We don't currently do anything like that.
Okay.
Like a certificate, if you buy a new furnace, we don't give you a discount.
Right, we don't do anything like that. And that's the kind of the issue there is, would you like to do rebates? Should we be giving out compact fluorescent bulbs? You know,
Or I,
Four.
Yeah,
I
jeez.
give this a 4. I think it's good, but that's something we want to get into.
3.
They give it a 1.
Can I ask you one more question on that? How often, you know, we have the constant cost of power, what it costs us to get a kilowatt? How often does it cost us more than what we're paying? Because of, you know, our usage or whatever, how often do we pay more?
Bill has to predict
Where
what
does
it's
it go?
well,
MISO and all that.
somewhat. We pay, with WAPA, we pay basically a set price. And they're always our bottom, you know, if you think of things in 0 to 100%, they're always the bottom half of power is WAPA. We
Right.
always get them first,
Mhm.
okay? And then when we need supplemental power, we purchase from Mid-American.
Okay.
We
so
have a
what-
contract with Mid-American that stipulates what the cost is
Okay, how often does that happen?
monthly.
Okay, so every month we dip into Mid-American?
Yes, which of course is more expensive than WAPA.
Right, okay, so what I'm saying is if we go to Evapco, one of the big users, the school, for
Mhm.
example, and we gave a rebate on energy efficient lights,
Mhm.
kind of like Mid-American did for the courthouse down in Carroll, for example.
Yep.
Would that mean we'd have to buy less power?
We'd buy less power.
From, you know, maybe that's something we should look at. I
See,
guess
that's
why I gave
the
it a 5.
concept is that you
I guess
buy
that's
less
why I
power.
gave it a 5, is so we can encourage big users like that to use less power, then it would actually come to save us more money. Is that, you know,
You're not required, under state and federal requirements, you're not required to have any type of energy efficiency program that basically doesn't pay for itself. Now,
Right.
you've gotta, I mean, you don't need to give some exorbitant rebate,
right. But should we encourage it
but you
in some way?
potentially could, sure.
So it costs us less,
Yeah.
the cost saving measure.
When you run cost,
Is that
we
something we could look at?
can certainly look at it, and we can really have Bill explain things to you a lot better than I can, because we've examined a lot of these stuff and never chose to do anything, but
Mhm.
like especially with the school, there's some nice financing mechanisms out there that they might be able, I'm sure they have accessed them, they got efficient lighting in there, that type of stuff that can really help them out.
I think they're shutting off lights now where they never used to.
Really?
When they walk out of a room, they're supposed to be shutting it off.
Really?
What,
Or when we walk out of the shop, like to go to the buses, we're supposed to be shutting the lights off.
now, don't we do audits every once in a while for the bills that we get? Does Bill go through them, or do we have
We have a consultant,
consultants?
who does shadow billings for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we just have to ask for that, or what?
He charges us for it, so. But we ask him to periodically do a shadow billing through MISO just to make sure that everything's squared.
And we've caught them, or some mistakes on it.
Yeah, and Bill's actually caught a lot more with Mid-American than we've ever had with MISO, so.
So we are looking at that part of it, that so you know that we're just not signing off on it. And I guess, you know, because that's monthly, the rates change
Yeah.
daily, don't they?
Rates with MISO change daily.
Daily, yeah, so,
They can.
oh yeah, and you're, I don't know if it's the right word to say, you're kind of held hostage to it. You gotta,
Yeah.
as a small, we've got to try to keep it, do our diligence, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Sewer plant, we got some problems out there with trickling filters, you know. Water will leak right through the walls out there at the trickling
Mhm.
filters. So,
I'd say, am I correct?
yep, Barry.
I'd say it's very important to take care of business.
Huh? Four?
5.
5.
5.
All right, providing disinfection at the sewer plant. Jerry.
5.
I give it a 3 because they're gonna make us do it one way or the other.
So that should be high priority.
So it won't make any difference, it won't make any difference to us, it does to DNR.
5.
I'd say 5.
How about sewer lines, reducing infiltration? We know that we get a lot of groundwater infiltration into our system. And actually, last time when we rebuilt the sewer plant, what they did is upsize the hydraulic capacity of the sewer plant. So, we know this is a concern, and DNR will continue to raise it as a concern, but we're able to handle all the problems as of now. Fixing the infiltration problems. Whitey?
I gave it a 5, it's part of the whole program as far as I'm concerned.
Give it a 5.
5.
That's fine.
All right, painting the water tower.
I think that's good. Man.
I need a 4.
Ooh, okay.
4.
5.
4.
I give it 5.
Yeah.
I think it's something that needs to be done.
Well, we'll talk about that a lot more at the next council meeting too,
Right.
about the need for that, but, and how that works into our financial situation, because it's going to end up being a big project for us. Street projects, just the general idea of streets, you know, do you rate streets as high priority, and really what's our need as far as having street work done immediately? So, who's starting? Whitey.
I didn't put anything on there. I guess right now, my question was that, is this a project that we want to do every year, or is it a project that we do where we put money together in there, or is it, I guess, identify streets, you know, we took care of a couple problem areas. I think it's somewhat important. I'm giving it a 3 just for the fact that, but I don't want to do a $10,000 project. I'd rather do a major project like we have in the past, and then people take notice of what's going on. I don't think we have any streets that a $10,000 project would make that much difference. You know, I think what we need to do is focus on, and we'll have streets go to hell the way it is, and we'll deal with it when it comes. So I'd give it a 3 then, I guess, if that's.
All right.
I give it a 3 because it's an ongoing thing, and I'm sure Lon will tell us which streets we need. That's his job.
But I guess, I don't know, a 3, just because it is an ongoing thing, and I don't want to get behind, and I don't know if we have like a 5 or 10-year street program, or anything like that.
We've had a street plan,
Right.
and this was done, I'm gonna tell you, in the mid-90s, and a lot of the stuff's been addressed. We don't have really like an engineered formal street program anymore. But, you know, looking generally at the need, streets are pretty decent.
Yeah. I'd give it a 4. Somewhat, you know, it is.
I give it a 3, like the mayor said, it's an ongoing thing, it's just like,
Right.
that street up there by the library. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we kinda handled that ourselves.
How about Sunset Drive? Should we ever hard surface Sunset Drive? There.
I give it a 2.
Sunset Drive is the old frontage road out there by the old East End restaurant.
Oh.
It's,
Just because of where I put that on our priority list, it might be a great idea, but I gave it a 1.
I'd say 1 because I think we have a pretty good street on the inside there. So.
it's gravel, but
No, I mean on the outside of the lake. I mean outside of there, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
If it was, Lakewood was still open, I would say, yeah, it'd be a top priority because got a lot of dust out there, you know.
You're talking Sunset Drive.
Yeah, Sunset Drive is out by the old East End restaurant where
Oh, the East End. Oh, I'm sorry.
The old frontage road out there.
We put dust
I got
down
it.
there.
I'll give that a 1.
I gave it a 1. They're used to the dust.
Oh,
I gave it a 1. When they moved there, that's what it was about. So
It was there when they moved in.
This issue will come up from time to time. We hear from the residents out there that
Every
they
spring,
sure would like to have something different out there. And even if you look at some sort of a hard surface, and even if it's a seal coat as opposed to asphalt, you know, that can be some improvements.
Well, they use this, what, apple sap then, or, what do they use?
Yeah, we use tree sap.
Tree sap,
Yeah.
yeah.
Reconstruct Lake Shore Drive, and that's out in back of the mayor's house. That's the one back
Oh,
here.
hell, we don't want to fix it. He's just,
I didn't give it.
he's just that dust.
Who's up first?
Hey,
Dave.
You give it?
I give it
I give it a 1. It might be a good project again, but as far as we are, as far as priorities for the city, give it a 1.
I give it 2. It's maybe important someday, but I don't, I think we have bigger projects right now.
Right.
I give it a 2.
I give it a 1.
I just give it a 2 because we've kicked it down the road for 10 years.
just,
And some of the people listening tonight will live right down here.
Well, hell, if he's married to her a couple more terms, he'll have enough money to.
That just shows you what kind of influence you have.
Yeah, they'll run me out on the rail next.
yeah, when you drive down this sometime, just really pay attention to it, as far as just the condition of it.
Sure.
The condition's terrible.
It's been passed 100 times.
Yeah, it's been passed 100 times, and the unique thing about this is that the storm drains are in the middle of the street, it drains to the middle. It's just an odd setup.
Yeah.
You want
But-
pavers out there, right?
We got road guards at each end of the stoplights.
That's one of the areas, just like when you go up here to Sunset Drive, where a really small portion of the taxpayers actually use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Access by.
Like, and, I guess if we had to spend $500,000 on repairing that road, and you had everybody in the community pay for it out of our tax dollars, there's gonna be some pretty upset people, I think.
It's a road that needs work, but there's such low usage on it.
Right.
Didn't that used to have a sign for, that was for
That's
personal?
the trail, that's the sidewalk out in front.
Sidewalk.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's a one.
Because if I drove on on that road to do my tour around the lake with my dogs in the back of the pickup, then I'm gonna say, all right, maybe, I should kick in,
Yeah.
but I guess right now with the way our funds are, I would say the homeowners of that use that would be the ones to foot the bill if that's what they want to.
Curb and gutter around the lake.
I'd give it a 1.
1.
It's fine.
Remember that cheap blacktop, right?
Oh, no, it's.
No, that's coming up here.
Yeah, yeah, get ready for that.
Additional heated storage down by the maintenance shop. Harry,
2, I'm not, I don't think we have a real problem,
you'll hear about from time to time about, well, it'd sure be nice if we could store more equipment inside.
I agree, but,
It's a priority thing.
yeah.
I give it a 2.
2.
I'll give it a 1 for heated.
I'll give it a 1 too. I mean a 1. 1, 2
Well,
fit.
Just give it a 12, huh?
You'll be there, buddy.
How about cold storage down by the maintenance shop? Jerry?
I give it a 1.
I give it a 2.
I give it a
1.
5.
Oh,
I give it a 5 because them concerts are falling apart down there. We already had stuff stolen, we need to get stuff inside. Do we ever get our forks brought back?
Brought back? No.
No.
Bought new? Yes.
Yeah, so that's right.
I guess, I give it a 1 because I didn't know any of that stuff. I guess if I had more information, maybe I'll give it more than a 1. And I guess,
Yeah, the concerts are all okay.
Yeah.
We kick the doors
I
in.
don't want the.
Well, I could
go
see,
down there.
if they would build something like that, if they would just
Cold storage.
dirt floor, like you used to build machine sheds,
Yeah.
just to cover.
That's what we need.
Like a
Yeah.
whole building.
Yeah, pole building.
Yep, that's what we
Did I get, I only had 4. Did I get yours, Terry?
I did 1.
Did I get yours, Jerry?
I have 1.
1125.
He had a five.
I had it too.
Yeah.
Must
I had
not-
five
yeah,
of
yeah,
them
it's
on
12.
storage.
Oh, I
need-
need,
yeah,
I
I need
need,
12.
I need
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
I had a 1 too.
Yeah.
One also, I should.
All right. Now, this was something that came up last year. I'm sure this needs a little explanation. New storage building over the drying beds at the sewer plant. Back when we, in a previous life down there at the sewer plant, what we would do is take sludge, pump it into these drying beds, and during the summertime, it would just dry, and then we would land apply the solids. We don't do that anymore, but we still have those drying beds there, and they're roughly the size of what a foundation of a building would be.
Mm.
And Ron had brought up this notion that that would just be a inexpensive way to create some additional storage, be out of the sewer plant.
You know,
And it's probably not a fair question to ask you to grade that, because it's such an interesting concept, but if you
You're absolutely right.
look at those drying beds sometime,
Mhm.
it's a legitimate alternative for an inexpensive way to put up a building, but it's not ideally located, it's at the sewer plant.
I was gonna say, did you want to move equipment from,
There's some of the stuff though that, wouldn't be that big a deal, you know?
yeah, they
Some
don't
of the
use
dump
it
trucks
much
in.
probably. the
Yeah,
stuff they
and
want.
would that be addressed when we upgrade the sewer plant?
Yeah.
You know, because that's a 5 to upgrade the sewer plant, but,
Yeah,
you know, maybe
that's-
that would address that.
Good, sure.
That's a good point, yes.
Good. Anybody want to give a score to the drying beds proposal?
I give it a 3 because it's a cheap way to put up a shed. The floor is already there.
Jerry Whiting?
I gave it a 1 just for the fact that if we gotta put a new sewer plant, how everything lays out,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
that's not knowing, that's my,
I gave it a 2 because I didn't know what the hell you were talking about.
can't get no more honest than that, buddy.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I give it a 1, I think, again, I think we have some other priorities right now.
Well, I gave it a 5 because I put it along with the sewer plant, because the sewer plant to me is a 5.
Sure.
So that's why I'd give it 5.
Okay.
So,
All right, here was another notion that has come up in the past. Turn the log cabin into a rental cabin. You would actually be able to rent it to the public for overnight stays.
for overnight stays, is that a National Historic thing?
It's
or-
not. It's not on the National Register.
Okay, who gave it to us? I mean, what,
The Belt family gave it to us to be used in a park setting.
yeah,
And,
For $1, right?
yep, they gave it to us for $1. And they supposedly get it back if we ever stop using it in a park setting. You know, that's the,
okay,
So
so,
just spent
contractual
30
arrangement.
grand on that thing, didn't we, or better?
yeah,
It is pretty high
$20,000.
so, are we even able to use it as a rental cabin then?
You,
Or,
Just make a bathroom in the back.
I mean, would
Outdoor house.
would it be,
Well,
I guess.
it's one of those things where you would
I mean,
want to clear this through several organizations.
Right,
beforehand.
right.
The historical organization and the landowners who had given to us.
I think they do
still
that
have-
down
they
in
still
Swan
have-
Lake,
They still have family here. so.
right, because.
and they
you know,
do it up to Hagee.
It might be a good income producer if we were able to do that, so I guess, you know, as a top priority, no,
Yeah.
I'll give it a 1. But it'd be
It's a good
interesting to find
idea.
out if we could use it for that,
Mhm.
and, you know, maybe it would,
Ron's
I
got
mean,
it
it
figured out.
doesn't take much to do that, I don't think.
I'll give it a 2.
Jerry?
Yeah.
Jerry? Whitey?
1.
Mayor?
Well, I gave it a 1. I get to be first on the next one, don't I?
Yeah.
You know, you might as well just keep silent on that, because we don't know what you'd say.
Well, yeah.
Well, who is next on this one?
Not me. I don't know.
Nobody
I
wants to
think
be
John.
first.
I think I am.
I believe it's the mayor.
Move the chief. I think he's like winning the gold medal and putting it in the I think we ought to move him to 5.
Well, there's
Oh,
two different
wait.
things here.
Chief Blackhawk
Chief
Plaza.
Blackhawk
Yeah,
Plaza.
Plaza, same thing.
No.
Well, oh,
You-
what's
My
that?
intention here is, there's been plans floated around before about
Make it the plaza.
nice
where the chief is right
improvements
now.
Where is that?
where the chief's at.
Oh, well, that's a 0.
I thought they needed more campground spots, now that'd be a good place.
That'd be
you
a
know.
good place to. I guess I'll have to wait to move the chief.
Chief of Blackhawk Plaza at its existing location. There.
1. Because I can't give it a 0, I guess. Nobody can see him.
I've asked questions on this. In fact, they have a meeting tonight, don't they?
Who's that?
The history people.
Is it the Historical Society, the museum folks might, yeah. Okay?
It's on their agenda.
Yeah, some improvements around the chief, it's on their agenda. They have been discussing this.
Actually, moving the chief is on their agenda tonight.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Depends who's there, if it'll work or not.
Change is pretty tough for some
They're gonna discuss it.
That's a start.
That's a start.
That's a start.
That is a start.
The reason I know that is because I work with chairperson of that
Oh, sure.
committee, and I've been discussing it with her. And, because she was the one that voiced her opinion, they're adamantly were against it, but now she's decided she'd bring it up to committee and give it their due diligence. So, because, I brought up some things that the mayor's discussed about the plaza / moving. All in one, I will go right down the middle, give it we only got 5, 2.5, 3. I'll give it 3.
Okay.
Because with the whole scheme of the park,
Right. That's part of the whole thing.
Well,
I was gonna, it's good.
I say, I'm still on the plaza. This is
The
I
plaza.
can't.
improvements
because
at its current location.
I don't have enough information to give anything.
Well, I think just to keep it, if they're not gonna do anything there, to keep it looking nice, I'd say somewhat, no, I give it a 2, somewhat important.
John recognized 1.
I give it a 1 too, but I'll clarify it on the next move.
Okay.
We see how they did
You
that
got
in there.
a plan.
I got a plan.
Move the chief. Who was supposed to start this? Me, the mayor?
It's a 5.
I thought you got the last one.
No, I did.
You started the last
That's why you can have it.
3. All right.
I'd say 4. I think it looked better someplace else.
Recommend
None.
1.
What'd you say, Matt?
Change is tough for some.
I gave it a
Winnebago.
I gave it a 4, and the reason I gave it a 4, I think it's part of the total plan. If we're gonna have to redo them lots down there camping, we're gonna need a lot more room. That's plan 1. If we're gonna put if we plan on trying to have a storm shelter there, that's gonna take some room, and that's gonna all be part of that problem. And the reason to move it, like I said, it would still look good at by the lake. So to me, it's part of a 3-step process is what it is.
It would definitely look good in a plaza by the piers. The utmost guts of being against it is the possible damage to it. And if the National Historic Preservation place at Des Moines said if you move it, you lose its national registry.
Surely says it doesn't use it.
Okay, they're gonna check on that, they're gonna do some legwork.
Sure.
If it loses its national registry, because if it does, then they're gonna be against it, and thus I will voice that opinion against moving it, if that's the case. But the thing that we do have going for it, according to them, is that the stone piers are on the national registry, and it would probably be a good thing to have it at that location because of that fact. So anyway, just to give you some background on that.
And I appreciate, the what ifs of breaking it, there's no guarantee of nothing, but take a look at, I'm gonna go back to the farmer's market down there. That was just a lot with the dirt and garbage there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, looks pretty decent to me, I think, and I think that's been an additive. And I don't think there's too many still against it, but I think it's something that'll take time to grow
A
on.
lot
Right.
of good comments on it.
Right.
So again, I mean, that's why, I think we've made some right decisions on that, and we went from there on, we'll have to see what happens,
Yeah.
But I take it as a plus that they're talking about it.
They are,
4 years ago, they wouldn't have talked about it.
No.
yeah.
And Lois Long said, just don't break it. Seemed like good wisdom to me.
Yeah, there's a company that does its washing or something, or whatever.
Mhm.
I
that
remember when George
specializes
Krause
in
moved
doing
St.
that.
Bernard
They did
across,
that.
Yeah.
from Dubuque.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, they didn't
on a
break it.
positive note,
That's a positive note.
Yeah.
I've done some digging on that because, I guess.
Sure.
Using the taxpayers' dollars right now with all the stuff we have going on. But if we incorporated the whole park scheme, then, we're looking at an improvement to an income-producing entity, so.
Maybe they could raise the money like the
Right.
girls did for the
Yeah.
Playground.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah. So the more thought I give it, the more bigger number I give it.
Very good. How about a veterans memorial?
Who's paying for it?
Just an idea right now.
Oh, I see. Okay,
That's all these artists.
sure.
I'm a 5 for the idea. As far as paying for it, that'd be another.
Now, this issue is going to actually come up next city council meeting. Park board's coming and they're going to discuss a couple issues with you. One will be ash trees in town.
Mm.
But the second one will be this concept of the Veterans Memorial. And they'll be talking about some ideas that they have, but they'll be asking you for something, and it will be some assistance, or at least given this budgeted, to pay for some design assistance.
Produce a
Yeah.
plan.
Yep, to get to where they can have a real, basically a real professional plan about the design.
Mm.
They don't, because they really don't want to go into this with kind of a ship-shod plan about what it is that they would like to do. They really want to have a well-laid-out plan, a lot of people involved with it, and in order to do that, sometimes it takes a lot of the,
What about the VA or something like that?
yep, we get the Legion involved in it here.
Right.
Yep.
That goes back to number 2 on the other page, the city should be a partner in the betterment of the community.
Sure.
That's kind of what I think is. Whatever that's worth.
Sure. Terry?
Okay.
I'd say 3.
3.
3.
5.
Very good. Blackhawk Lake Trail Phase 2, and this is actually the one, we have the money to get it done. The news today is this another thing for Monday night's agenda. We'll have an engineering contract ready to go on that. We've got their initial proposal on fees was, I think, exorbitant, but they want, it's about 30% engineering fees on the entire project for a trail. And a lot of that deals with government regulations, but the concept of finishing this Phase 2 through Ice House Point and Gunshot Hill. Jerry?
I put a 3.
3.
5. Good tourism.
3.
I have a 3.
Okay. The next issue, again, Blackhawk Trail, redesigning that route. We have money to do Phase 2. After that, we don't have any money to look at the next phase. Fact is, we don't have any clear path about where the next phase ought to be or where the trail should go in general.
So not in front of people's garages, is that what they're saying?
That and that's one of those deals about talking with the public, that they're upset about the notion of having it on the
Well,
street.
I think, if you put a trail up my hill, I'll probably be upset too. I mean, tourism's good, but you gotta have a place for it too.
Mhm.
And then people that are riding, but I don't think they want that kind of place for it either.
Oh, absolutely. When they have a choice, you want a nice, big, wide, standalone
Exactly.
trail
Right.
somewhere. But, does that become feasible?
I know.
It's expensive.
No.
Any And so my question here is would you like to undertake the notion of probably a new committee and basically start at the beginning, redesigning routes?
I'd say I'd have to go with the 2 on that.
Give it a 1.
Give it a 1. That was a lot of work the first time. Got nowhere.
You know, being a bike rider and everything, but right now, if it costs money to do it, I'm not gonna give it a 1, because I think there's, I don't mind riding around the lake, there's a lot, but I just don't think that's, you got phase 2 going, and, you know, sure.
We did this visioning exercise, a joint deal between Lakeview and Breda and some of the rural people in between about basically aesthetic improvements to the Sauk Rail Trail. You guys really, I think, need to see what came out of that study. There's some really nice ideas.
Mhm.
And again, that's something that I don't suppose you could make any judgment on, because you really haven't even seen the plan, but that would be involved with, one of the things we talked about was kind of like something that would end up looking like a stone pier type overlook, but it goes out into the marsh south of town. Now, but we need some more information on that one. You guys have any scoring on it?
And I would be interested in something like that, because we use the trail.
I give it a 3.
I give it a 3.
I gave it a 4. So.
I got 4.
Yeah, 3.
All right. Highway corridor plantings and beautification, that is any beautifications along Highway 71. And this used to be a big issue when we would look at potential ways to shield off the salvage yard there. And salvage yard has cleaned up, doesn't look nearly really as bad as what it had before. But there's still some plans out there as far as different taller plantings, this type of stuff that could really make a nice positive addition to that entrance.
I'm all for, you know, the cosmetic things right now. You know, unless I get a handle on a big return on what plantings are going to give me as far as my investment, you know, I'm going to give it a low rating of a 2.
I'm going to give it a 2. I think the way it is, it looks 100% better with those trees out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and stuff. I do.
They got the ones by the viaduct today.
Yeah. Oh, did they? Yeah.
3.
3.
Very good. How about the Witches Tower Trail? You want to explain the Witches Tower Trail, Mayor?
That was going from the Witches Tower, and then it meanders through over to the Sauk Rail Trail. We wanted to put a trail through there that people could, the locals could use. But the DNR didn't want us to do that. At least the last DNR guys didn't want us to do that, so. It's just something I think we should just keep on the radar for down the road.
Any scores on that one?
I'll give it a 1.
2.
1.
4.
Good.
You just want to fight with me.
To sum up everybody else.
Sidewalk in and around Speaker Park. There's been some notion about a sidewalk that would go basically all the way around the perimeter of Speaker Park. And we've done some of the sidewalk work in it, you know, as far as connecting that gazebo, getting up to the new restroom. But
I think it'd be a good place for people to walk. I'd do a 5 on that.
Jerry?
I didn't think it was important. 1.
I gave it 2.
4.
I'm only going to give it a 1 because I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea, but as far as priorities, I'm going to give it a 1.
Sure.
I ain't saying it has to be done. I'm just saying it's a good idea.
Right, sure. Yep.
That's fine.
How about a skate park?
I'll start.
I love putting the skate park out here.
1.
1.
1.
1.
I love
But I
people
really
down
do
there.
believe our kids do need something to do as far as
Yeah.
that goes.
They got a lake and they got a playground now.
They'd probably enjoy it, that as far as priorities again.
Yeah.
you know.
Sure. Extending the streetscape on Third Street.
Jerry, did you say one on that too?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear. I just, that's
Streetscape for,
on Third Street, that was the license,
That's
Yeah.
from.
That's here, yeah.
from
We're starting off
Funeral
with-
Street.
Starting off with sidewalk at least.
Mhm.
And when we do sidewalk, we will at least have preparation in place that we can do street lighting. That is burying, conduit, that type of
Mm,
stuff, if we
sure.
decide we want to do that. Okay, wait,
4.
5.
Do a lot of people walk on that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
It's a
heavily
huge
used
sidewalk.
sidewalk.
I don't know. Guess I don't know that much about it.
We're trying to hook the downtown to the lake.
Yeah,
That's our big,
I'll give it a 3.
4.
Okay. Pedestrian lighting along the pier-to-pier walkway. The issues come up that this is another nice aesthetic improvement down there. Could you do short pedestrian lighting near each one of those bench pads down there along the walkway? And you can just kind of envision it, it'd be very attractive.
There is some kind of lighting, or not much.
You know, lights, there's street lighting, and there's those lights on the stone
Street
piers.
lighting, yeah.
Whitey,
2.
4.
2.
I'll go with 3. I think it's, probably that one.
how about a lighthouse by the beach?
Long one's set pretty bad.
See, this is one of those things Lon would talk out. He's forever has ideas. That, he's just convinced to put a nice big lighthouse there and people will come visit the lighthouse. It'll at least be something that you talk about and it's an additional tourist attraction.
I'll never notice when the Chiefs move.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but I'll give it a 1.
So it's a 1 for the lighthouse from the mayor, Dave?
I'm gonna give it a 1.
I'm a 1.
I'll be different, I went 2.
All right.
I'm 1.
Hold special events in Camp Crescent.
I gave that a 5. The reason I gave that a 5 is if we have a year like we did last year, July and after, and the lake's not fit to boat on, I think it'd be really good idea for Camp Crescent if we came up with more ideas like the Halloween thing.
Mhm.
You know, we had the Halloween thing, the campground was packed.
Yep.
Again this year. Didn't even, the lake had nothing to do with that, and it was packed. If we could think of more plans ideas like that, I think that would be a great idea, especially because that park is a big income producer.
Right.
I'll give
So
it
I
a
give
4.
it a 5.
Excuse me. I gave it 4.
Wait.
4. Yep.
Mayor?
5.
All right, how about Camp Crescent improvements? That is bigger lots, bigger amp electric services.
5.
5.
Terry?
5.
5.
I gave it a 4 just for the big plan.
Sure. How about hard surfacing the roads in Camp Crescent?
4.
I gave it 1.
3.
2.
1.
Okay. Independent or assisted living complex. As
No, we
a,
already got it.
well, this is more, this isn't nursing home
assisted
related.
living, okay.
It's like Oak Terrace up at Sac, It's in intermediate level on that.
And so, was that the city runs that then?
No, not
No.
necessarily.
Just-
Could you see this as a community need, or could you see this as something that the city could work on the initial steps of development and get it turned over to private?
I give it a 5.
How many can we handle in Sac? Is that full up there? I think they made that mistake with Blackhawk up here when they thought they needed it so bad and they had a heck of a time getting it full.
The difference between nursing home and assisted living is more and more people are going towards the assisted living. The insurance industry is kind of about made that happen, and the last place everybody wants to go is to the nursing home. The assisted living is basically a go-between.
It's more independent.
Right. So,
Right.
so the popularity of that versus a nursing home is the average stay in a nursing home is 4 years. Assisted living is quite a while, you know, and that's, assisted living is I think, a pretty big need,
It's
especially in an
popular.
older
It is popular.
community.
The only thing I'm saying is you can get too many
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
units. I'll
You know,
say
and they-
two.
Two?
Yeah.
Wait,
One?
Give it one, I think somebody ought to do it, but not the city.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
city
Yeah.
I
doing it.
think that's a
I'm thinking-
nursing home still.
Right, right, but
Yeah.
hospital.
But Scott
Exactly.
said that,
Exactly.
it's, not a city project, didn't you say? in
Yeah,
your opening
yeah.
comments
You
that
bet.
was.
Before we get too far, does anybody want a pork sandwich? I want to eat that for the next week.
I have one.
Have
Very
one?
good.
Well, I'm gonna have some here, Mayor, and we got about 12 more things to get through, and then we'll be.
I didn't
Pork
want to
sandwich
get
time.
away without eating it.
How about a senior citizen center?
Curtis, you want to get another one?
I'm stuffed.
So,
I think,
You want something to take home?
Maybe.
I give it a 2. I think we, they do, you know, down to Legion
Mhm.
and any more than that right now, I think would be out of question.
They,
you know.
the thing used to come up, the issue used to come up from time to time, but since they started doing congregate meals down there, it really hasn't been
No.
discussed nearly as much. That kind of met that need. Whitey?
One.
one.
2.
Nuisance abatement. You want to leave the nuisance abatement?
5. Nuisance abatement's very important to the city.
That's pretty broad.
It
It
is.
is. We have a big brush.
Uh-huh.
It's a tourist town.
Well, yeah, we
don't want
want to
to-
keep the town clean.
Right.
So
And
that'd be a
part of it.
5.
You know, it's,
That'd be a 5.
Yeah, I'll do it 5.
and this is not necessarily a project, it's more of a concept, but my point for maybe putting it on the list is that nuisance abatement can oftentimes cost you money. And, you know, the worst case is, say we gave notice to some homes that would tear them down, and we'd actually have to follow through and tear them down.
Right,
Mhm.
there's
And-
a Becker garage or something somewhere. Somebody told me about one or something.
Well, yeah, there's one down
Said
on
right
South
there
Vine,
that
but that's
they-
sold, and the new owner's supposed to be getting it all taken care of, so,
By a certain time.
no timeline on it with Corey and that garage down there. No
We think-
timeline, so he'll do something sometime.
We think you will.
We can always send them a reminder.
Oh, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
make sure.
Friendly.
Yeah, we've done
We've
that.
done that more than once.
Okay, well, I heard 5s. Anybody not a 5?
I'm a 4, I just,
We're almost getting done, aren't we, Whitey?
yeah, we made a lot of strides. for it.
It, you know, things are a lot better, but it seems like every spring, you know, there's basically, even if it's just winter cleanup, there's a new crop of nuisance notices that go out.
Especially if they have a curved porch.
Bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah, had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Services or equipment sharing between cities. Dave, your turn.
Always keep the doors open, so I'll give it a 5.
I'll give it a 1.
3.
1.
3.
Okay, how about a new residential subdivision?
I've heard that we need that. I'll give it a 4.
3.
Give it a 5.
3.
I'll give it a 5 also.
Because that is something that we hear from time to time is about the availability of lots to build homes on. And, you know, whether it's something that we would look at this as a municipal project, you can take it all the way and say we'd have a municipal subdivision, buy land and develop it. Or say, no, we're going to encourage private development and do just whatever we can to encourage that. Or, you know, there's lots of room in the middle too about how the city can partner.
Like all those lots on-
Already.
Like all those lots on the south side, are they all sold or?
South side of the lake out there?
No, out by the senior, or,
Yeah, by Griffin Apartments.
yeah, Griffin.
So, they're all sold.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that they're all sold. New Wall Lake Lumber still owns some.
Oh,
and they're available
I
for
see.
sale, but, we'll go through that arrangement on that sometime, because the city was really involved with that
Mhm.
and helped with a lot of the infrastructure installation and made the deal happen between the developer and the property owner. So there's lots of different ways that we can look at that. How about encourage the use of infill housing lots? That is, any of the kind of the standalone lots that we have around town.
So we should always encourage.
Yeah, that's-
I mean, we shouldn't stop. That's why I give it a 5.
I give it a 4.
I give it 4.
Gary? What's that there? All right, well, it's going a little bit longer than what I thought, so. Down payment assistance grant. There are some funds out there to help mainly first-time home buyers. There are grant funds that the city would apply for, and that there has to be some match dollars in it. Just gauging any interest in that.
I'd give it a 3.
I give it 3.
4.
1.
3 on the next one.
Rehab, 3, Terry.
1.
Jerry?
I think you're going more than that.
1.
1.
Utilizing the lake during the winter. Here, the skinny on the snowmobile races that are scheduled for this Saturday is that they're not going to have it.
Oh, is that right?
No snowmobile races this Saturday, because even though they'll be racing on ice, they're ice drags down. They were originally going to be down Arrowhead,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they still got to have something to make lanes, and they would push snow to make
Oh,
lanes.
I see.
And anyway, it's not going to happen yet. But Jimmy's kind of still keeping the door open that if we do ever get some snow,
Mhm.
that he really would like to do something. But he's actually then looking more like at Larry Hauser's land right north of Sparky's, and be able to do some land-based ones there.
I see.
But utilizing the lake in the winter.
I mean, we should always keep the door open for that, but, you know, you look at Okoboji also, you know, their winter carnival thing is always dependent on snowfall and stuff,
Mhm.
and when we're in a drought like this, it's hard to keep them, but, you know, we should definitely encourage as many winter activities as we can, so I'll give it a 5.
I give it a 3.
5.
4.
3.
Okay. What lake improvement project is the big lake watershed project, everything
5.
with the grasshopper.
The grasshopper.
I give it a 5.
5.
Okay, very good. Storm sewer filtration for the lake project. We could do, there's some various types of setups that basically allow you to help filter the water as it's either going into the storm sewer primarily, and you look at, like the one that comes to mind is the white. Is up at Storm Lake as you're going into town on highway, on the highway going in.
Yeah.
You see these things right by the intakes there. They're small rain gardens right by the intakes.
Mhm.
Mr. Raygard here.
Really?
They,
Yeah.
and with the notion
I
being
think it'd
there,
do more good if we clean the streets.
It's like the one that we're gonna put at Horseshoe Drive, right?
we're going to do a bioswale.
Swale.
at
That's like a big
Horseshoe
rain
Drive.
garden, right?
Yep, kind of rain gardenish.
Yeah.
Storm sewer filtration for the lake project.
5.
4.
4.
4.
5.
3.
Stormwater utility. There's just this concept out there that you could establish stormwater as a utility, and mainly what it is a way to raise revenues. That, so every house, you know, there's some where every house pays $3 or $4 a month, and it supports your storm sewer system. If we were to look at something like that, we would look at a storm sewer utility raises some revenue that ultimately affects the lake project. Now, do you want to establish another revenue?
Yeah, to me, that's an additional tax, so I'm gonna say no, I don't either one.
Okay, Terry?
1.
Encouraging green practices. So we want to encourage anything green, but these would be like the rain gardens, rain barrels, this type of stuff, private.
Go team, go.
Yeah.
I know I take a lot of crap about this, but this actually is somewhat important.
Yeah.
So is Obamacare.
Right.
Just not get very much in there.
Whitey,
2.
how about green practices, actually having us do green practices in the public, and this would be like the bioswale.
5.
So is there funds for that, or?
Yeah, that's grant funds.
I'll do
Five,
that.
yeah.
Show me the money, I'll be a 5.
Well, thank you. That's,
We got some.
yeah, I appreciate that, because, you know, seriously, if, you gotta walk the walk before you can really talk the talk on some of this stuff. And people look to the city and say, boy, you expect me to do this? You haven't done this or this, and you say, yes, we have.
Yeah.
You lead by example.
Yeah, that's fine, if we can get clearance to do it, that's fine.
How about having a public Wi-Fi hotspots,
Where?
wherever they might be? It would be that the city would basically buy a bandwidth to allow for a hotspot.
One.
I think one.
1.
General concept, hold more tourist events. That used to be a deal, and then we started hosting a lot more events, and, you know, do we still need to do more? I guess that's the question.
I'll do 3.
Jeremy?
4.
3.
Dave?
That's a 4. First 4.
How about a community endowment? This would be some sort of a financial structure that would allow for giving, allows private giving and all of the tax benefits that go along with it, to be giving to probably a 501c nonprofit that is established to benefit Lakeview.
Is it something that has to be used every year?
I
mean, you
don't-
can
I don't
build
think
it?
so. Yeah.
Like
And-
for the sewer plant?
No, not necessarily, you know, it's
More like-
more somebody's gonna give money to this endowment that might be
Yeah.
used for community betterment stuff.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So like the veterans
Yeah,
memorial,
Yeah.
moving the chief or something?
Yeah, probably moving.
So 5.
Anyway, this, establishing it is a legal procedure.
Okay.
But it's a legal procedure to establish it. It's it's a difficult procedure to really get people to leave money towards a community endowment.
Yeah.
You know, it's, then it becomes part of selling it,
I'll do 3.
which they did.
I did 5.
Jerry?
1.
3.
Okay, how about marketing? General concept of community marketing.
I'd make that important 4. We gotta continue to do it.
Yeah.
5.
4.
5.
A business district facade project. This would be something really similar like to what Sac City's doing. We got a grant to help basically fix up all of the facades, the front so many inches of downtown buildings. And
How much money does the city's throwing in towards it?
Burris could probably answer more better than I can. Is
1 to 1, unless you get, well, it's complicated. I mean, you can have private businesses donate or contribute, but it's a CDBG.
yeah, and it was going to end up being this 20% building owner contribution. So I think it's 20% building, 30% city, 50% grant.
Sounds
I
right.
thought at one time when we redid the front of our buildings, it was like, we could get $2,500.
bucks.
But we didn't ever do it because
We have that. We have a little revolving loan
I
fund
didn't
project.
want these guys having their ropes on me.
Now you're one of the guys.
We've
Now you're one of them guys.
there you go. We've had one person utilize our revolving loan fund before, and it was Tim Laney when he was on the city council, because he just wanted to prove to people that it could work. And it worked just fine.
Yeah.
Although Tim has an application out again too. You might see something coming up with his car lot in the building and what was Molly's Floral, next time. Anyway, facade project, scores.
4.
1.
I'm gonna do 3.
I'll go 3.
Okay. New commercial developments.
3.
Three. It's,
4.
it's important, but I don't know. It's hard to bring stuff in.
Marketing the lands out there in Sac Beach Edition. That is the lands north of the hotel and the restaurant.
Yeah.
Those, we put that road in there with the concept that those would be sold and used for other business purposes, and nothing's really come of it yet. The city does not play a role really at all in marketing those lands. Should the city play any role in that at all?
They're privately owned, right?
They're private, yeah.
I would go, when we do community marketing, we can throw a blurb in there, so I'll give it 2.
I do 3. I'd like to see it happen, but I don't know. Tough, especially
Well, the
with
question is whether it's city responsibility.
Yeah,
And I mean,
especially
it's not city responsibility,
No,
that's privately owned. If it was city owned, then I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's going to be tougher with the 71 though.
Yeah. Jerry, 4? Whitey?
So that was 4.
Mayor? I know you're all pretty sad, but this will be the last one.
No,
New industrial developments.
5.
I'll do it 4.
4?
All right.
3 on others.
I didn't need these. So. I did have it filled out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's really all that I had hoped to accomplish tonight.
you want our name on this?
Nope, I've got everybody's.
Oh, you got it.
I took what everybody's
You get a sheet.
scores were, and I will compile those and.
This is, you gotta see my,
Is the meeting over up
I got
north?
one of them files.
Is the meeting over up north?
I don't know, I haven't been in touch with my person there.
Oh,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.
I was just wondering if there